live from the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. The wait is over. That's right, high school football, the regular season is underway. And here on the ice at the Adirondack Bank Center in Utica, where the AHL All-Star festivities are complete. The 3-on-3 AHL All-Star Challenge wrapping up a little over an hour ago. The Utica College Hutton Sports and Recreation Dome that was built here and opened in the fall of 2015 is no longer standing. Induction Sunday is here, the ceremony wrapping up just a little while ago, and now there are 5 new members of the Baseball Hall of Fame. Hey there, Kristen. I gotta say, when I was here at Carrier Park on Monday, it was really breezy. It got a little bit cold. Today it is absolutely perfect out here, and honestly, I might not come back to the station later. I might just stay here all night. But anyway, here in just a few minutes, Oneida will be taking the field against Waverly. The Orange's feet must hurt from all this dancing they're doing. After upsetting number 3 Michigan State on Sunday, the Cuse is back at it in just under 29 hours for their toughest opponent yet. Utica Comets have had an influx of mid-season signees and players coming in on tryout deals throughout the season. Lucky for them, many have worked out well. We're learning plenty more on this case involving the Hawks women's basketball team, whose season has been suspended. The team once 19-3, now in the books at 0-26. Elation turns to tragedy as Syracuse men's basketball coach Jim Boeheim is involved in a fatal crash that killed 51-year-old Jorge Jimenez of Syracuse. As the anticipation is building, the fans not allowed in the arena just yet, so as you can see behind me, it is the calm before the storm. Now it's going to be very exciting and very packed in here a little bit later on, as Kraft Hockeyville is coming here in just a couple of hours. Now earlier today here at the Clinton Arena, both the Blue Jackets and Sabres held their pregame morning skates in front of a packed house of fans ranging from young school kids who actually got out of school thanks to today's events, and all the way up through fans who have watched hockey in Clinton since the original Comets were here. Both practices were up-tempo to say the least and really showcased the speed that people can expect to see here between these NHL teams tonight, especially on a smaller ice surface than they have in regulation NHL rinks. Fans got to see some of the best players in the world, superstars of the game, but also players who are trying to make the NHL and make a name for themselves, and we're used to that here, seeing so many players in the AHL trying to make their way up. Now, one established player from the Sabres actually has a pretty cool connection to Clinton and spoke about it earlier today. So Zach Bogosian of the Sabres grew up in Messina, New York, north of here, playing against the Clinton youth hockey team. Such a cool aspect. Just one of many that makes this game special here tonight. However, with many Sabres fans expected to be here in attendance, he'll go from Clinton foe to Clinton fan favorite here tonight. Now coming up at 5:30, we're going to hear from former Comets broadcaster Brendan Burke, who is back in town calling the game tonight for NBC Sports Network. But for right now, I'm going to send it over to Clinton High School, where Alicia D'Addario is standing by live. Alicia. The growing wave of competitive video gaming is currently sweeping the nation. Earlier today, I had the chance to experience the craze firsthand as I visited with a new team here in our local area.
Begin.
The arrival of an eSports team to Westmoreland High School has brought about a new way of competing for the school.
I got it.
It creates a fun way of bringing people who may have different interests together to socialize through a common interest that they may share.
We got some kids that are into some of the other sort of traditional sorts of sports, but they can also be part of this team as well. So we got a wide cross-section of the entire student body that's a part of the eSports team. So it's bringing kids from all different areas together for one, general purpose here.
It just gives them an opportunity to be part of a team, part of a group, feel like, they belong, they fit in with a group of people.
There were many different reasons for students to join this team.
This has been kind of like a big hobby for me for a really long time, and so the option to actually be able to compete is it's really appealing.
Spending time with friends and being able to play with video games with friends, because I could always play video games by myself if I wanted to, but it just adds more fun to it, like an end goal.
After starting out as a club a couple of years ago, it transitioned into a full-blown team this school year, joining the High School eSports League, an officially sanctioned online league for high schools across the nation.
I think it's awesome that we get to connect with other people across the country and in other states, and I think it's great that we get to represent the school, and especially because we have a lot of good players, so it kind of puts our school in a good light.
It's just a lot of fun. That's really what it's all about. It's a way to bring people together and for them to really enjoy themselves, and the little level of competition as well, get the juices flowing a little bit. It's always nice to see kids get really entertained and get active about trying to better one another as well in these different games.
So medium, I joined in on today's practice, trying to test my skills against one of the more experienced competitors.
You won.
Batman!
That was awesome.
Yes. Nice. I may have won this round, but chalk that up to beginner's luck. It'd take me a lot more practice for me to make it to the big leagues. And it may not be traditional, but don't try telling these kids that this isn't a sport.
The big part of a sport is like getting out, like being active, physically active, and even though this isn't really physical, like still having to like memorize like all these strategies and like competing in general against other teams, I'd say is considered a sport.
Based off the character your opponent's using, you need to potentially know what they're capable of and what your character is capable of responding with.
So I think it falls somewhere in there of being like a competition of more of a mental game than a physical game. So they're all still competitive in just different aspects.
There are currently 20 competitors on Westmoreland's team between grades 9 and 12, but the expectation is that it will continue to grow, not only at Westmoreland and a couple other local schools, but across the entire area.
Slowly but surely, you're going to see this pop up across other school districts. We just really wanted to be at the forefront of this, incredibly popular wave of video games and just kind of try to lead the way.
In sports, they say you play for the name on the front, not the one on the back. This is never more evident than in the new unified basketball here in Central New York. In a story we first brought you on Monday, today the teams saw their first game action.
Let's go!
It may read zeros on the scoreboard, but that means it was one heck of a day at Whitesboro High School.
It's super cool, and it's really a blessing to be able to play.
It was the first scrimmage for 5 local schools in a sport intended to allow students with mental or physical disabilities the chance to experience playing a varsity sport. CVA, VVS, Oneida, Whitesboro, and New Hartford all converged for an afternoon of competition, but even more importantly, inclusion.
It really improves school climate and school culture. Nowadays, when you talk about bullying and acceptance, this really allows these students to feel accepted. They follow the same rules and regulations that the football team and basketball team follows, and soccer teams. They get to put on the same type of uniforms, and they get to feel that school's pride.
There are a variety of reasons why a student may not have been able to play a varsity sport, but Unified Basketball says all who want to play can.
I played varsity in my junior year, and it's just cool to be back on the court, back wearing Whitesboro across my chest. It's just fun to play with these kids. It's great. It's fun seeing these kids going out there smiling, having a good time, and just play basketball,
Partnering with Special Olympics New York, the New York State Public High School Athletic Association was able to form this 5 years ago. Starting with 12 schools in the Albany area, now they have 140 schools around the state, including 5 here in the Mohawk Valley.
It's amazing. I mean, some of these kids have never been in an athletic setting like this. And they're doing such an outstanding job, and the smiles on their faces, and they're like, wow, I can actually do this.
When we brought that to the parents and the students, they were so excited. Like, they've gone home, they've bought like new sneakers for basketball, new outfits, excited to come to school. They got their water bottles. They're upset if they don't have their water with them. So it's being on a team that they would never have had a chance to be on, part of the school.
And it isn't just about the on-court competition, but also the friendships made through teamwork.
It's awesome because you get to build relationships with people that you probably would never be friends with. And so, like, it builds a bridge, so it's cool.
The varsity basketball season is over for high schools locally, and now it's the unified players that are in the spotlight.
It's really been a joy to see them in school as well with their jerseys on and everybody high-fiving them, saying we're going to come to your game. So it's been a great experience, and we're really proud to be able to host it.
The Utica Comets enter the final weekend of the regular season, looking to finish out strong. Tonight's game against the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton Penguins was so good, let's get right into it. Comets defenseman Jamie Cyphers retiring from pro hockey at the end of the weekend. Canucks GM Jim Benning in attendance tonight. First period, Comets break into the zone. Wasey Hamilton throws it out front off the skate of Lucas Yashik to Jonah Gadjevich, who slips a backhander home. Comets on top by 1. In the second, 2-0 Utica on a power play. Tom Pyatt gets the rebound and chips it up and over John Muse for the goal. Comets on top by 3. More than midway through the frame, Pyatt flips into the zone. Reed Boucher takes advantage of a misplay. Backhand, forehand, and in. His second of the game, 30th of the season. With under 7 to play, 4-1 now. Comets with a 5-on-3. Boucher goes off the tender and in. Here come the Hats. Third goal of the game for Boucher. Utica back up 4. Then the UFC comes to town. Gadjevich squares off with Ben Sexton. 57 seconds later, Wasey Hamilton drops the mitts with Jarrett Burton, getting a few nice shots in. Just 1:03 after that, it's Brandon Anselmini for the Comets going toe-to-toe with Joseph Cramarosa. What is going on? Wild. Switching the channel back to the AHL from the MMA, Jacek risks a shot home. Comets take a 6-1 lead, but during the celebration, some more pleasantries. Brendan Woods absolutely going to town, throwing haymakers at Matt Apt. 5 fights in the second period alone, 2 more in the third. Wild night at the Odd. Oh yeah, and the Comets put up 8 goals and win 8-1. The fields in Frankfort were busy today. Oriskany traveled to Frankfort Schuyler High School for simultaneous baseball and softball contests. On the baseball field, the Redskins come in at 2-0 so far this year. The Maroon Knights are 0-3. Top of the third, 1 out, and Oriskany down 1. First and second for Colton Davis. He grounds a pitch down the left field line and past third. Andrew Pisnick scores. It's 3-2 Frankfort. In the fourth, tied at 3 now, Matt Enos has a man in scoring position. He rips a shot out to center, and that's a long way out, deep into the outfield. Coming around to score is Alex Burrows. Redskins have the lead. After the Knights tie it at 4, Oriskany regains the lead in the top of the 7th with 2 on. Keegan Krager chops it past short. He plates Davis and Carl Graziday. Jeff DeSaro hit a 2-run homer in the bottom half of the inning for the Knights, but it wasn't enough as Oriskany wins 8-6. Over on the softball field, the Maroon Knights looking to improve to 3-1 on the young season. The Redskins are trying to stay unbeaten at 4-0. Top of the 7th, 2-1 Frankfort. Phelan Shannon with a runner on third. Full count, 2 outs. Shannon out to left center. Gone. How's that for late game drama? 2-run blast and 1 strike away from a loss. Oriskany is now up 3-2. Bottom half of the inning, Madison Hone gets the strikeout to end it. Dramatic come from behind victory for the once dead in the water Redskins. 3-2 is the final. Just 1 day after Herkimer College sophomore Derek Felder was named NJCAA Division III Player of the Year, Generals head coach Matt Lee has been named the nation's Coach of the Year. Lee led Herc to its first NJCAA Division III championship since 1991, going 31-1 in the process. He was also named coach of the tournament for the national tournament after their run. The Herkimer grad has been coaching the Generals since 2003 and has compiled a 405 and 123 record. I caught up with him tonight where he said that this honor is the cherry on top of what was a magical season.
It's great. It's one of those things you always want to be a part of. It's hard to set out to have that as your goal because it's pretty hard to do. So I'm just happy, proud to be around those kids who they had goals, we all had goals, and for them to put in the work and effort they did to accomplish their goals led to this one for me.
Next up for Coach Lee, he will coach the Division II/Division III team against the Division I team in the NJCAA All-Star Game in Las Vegas on May 18th. Felder will play for the D2/D3 team. And guys, some big news in the MASL tonight. Utica City FC beat the Orlando Seawolves 7-6 on the road. That means that they clinch the 2019 Eastern Division Championship. So if there was a mic drop ever a time, that's it. But I have to say, I don't know. Look at this guy.
Let's look here.
He didn't quite have the pressure of an actual game, though.
There's nobody catching that on the ceiling and dropping it in.
I don't think so. But I don't look. All I'm saying is, I hit one in a game for the Globetrotters.
And look at your dress for the.
And I'm dressed for the occasion. I mean, what he did was impressive, but I mean, come on, look at.
You didn't have a
we both scored. I scored in the game. That's all I'm saying.